Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Bulls on Tap. I'm your boy Buzz. I'm joined by my dude Goose, aka Bulls Scripted, and we are here to recap the Chicago Bulls 110-102 victory over the Miami Heat. Before we do that, be sure you're going on tapsportsnet.com for all your Chicago sports literature and podcasting needs. Following us on Twitter at Bulls on Tap, at On Tap Sportsnet, following my dude Goose at Bulls Scripted, and following me at Buzz on Tap. Anywhere you can listen to podcasts, you can listen to us. So give us a 5-star rating and review because that's cool and tough. Goose, that game was entertaining as hell. First of all, I'm sorry for missing Saturday. I was at the rate for a White Sox winner. So we're recapping. I was going to say recap 2 games, but I don't want to do the other game and talk about Denzel Valentine. I want to do this game. I want to talk about this game. I'm going to get a little hyped during this recap because what a second half, man. So first of all, how are you? Second of all, initial thoughts.
I'm doing good, and initial thoughts, I'd have to concur. I enjoyed watching Bulls basketball tonight against an actual team. The Heat were shorthanded, didn't have Hero, Oladipo, Iguodala, and there's one other guy in there that I'm forgetting. But still a playoff team, and the Bulls came out and got a win. It didn't look too good early again. Had a lot of early turnovers in the first. Seems to be a trend on the season. But after we escaped that second half was a lot of fun to watch. And Vooch, I felt like he couldn't miss to start the game, and then he kind of disappeared in the second half. But what about that dude, Tice? Holy shit, man. Like, what are we going to do if we can't keep this guy?
Be depressed.
Be depressed, yeah. Well, I mean, we're already there, so don't make it worse, Acme. Let's not go there.
Yeah, so like that's something I want to touch in. I have very spotty internet right now. It's very windy around here. Just throw that out to everybody during this broadcast. So hopefully I don't get kicked out of here. But tonight, Daniel Tice gave me everything that I really wanted initially when we traded for Vooch, right? Because with Lauri Markkanen and Vooch. And Daniel Tice did that. I mean, we already know he's a better defender than Lauri. We've talked about that countless times on this show. But everything Tice did tonight, this guy was, I don't want to say he was another man's trash because it's not like the Celtics wanted to get rid of him. That was all, purposely for, salary cap reasons and everything like that. But, oh, my God.
You mean they actually like Luke Cornett more than Daniel Tice?
No, they didn't. And anybody thinks that's fucking ignorant. So, honest to God, brother, like the way he's played, he has been a bright spot for us to talk about during these hard games and after the trade deadline, how bad it's been. And him and Vooch tonight were just unbelievable together. And I'm going to throw out a little bit of, credit here to Billy Donovan as well, because I loved that lineup and how it was working in the fourth quarter with Lauri, Tice, and Vooch. I don't know how you felt about that, man, but they were just, the ball was moving. There was competitiveness on defense. I felt like Lauri Markkanen was motivated. He did get scored on there in the fourth, but Bam's a good player. So everybody who flipped out about that needs to realize that Lauri Markkanen's not a great defender and Bam is a very good player, and it's going to be rough. At least he gave it a goddamn shot. I was just so happy with the way they all played tonight. And going through his stat line here, I'm scared to pull up anything on my Wi-Fi that's struggling right now, so I have it all on my phone. But I'm going to throw out Tice's line to you here, Goose. 10 for 13 from the field, 1 for 2 from downtown, 23 points, 12 rebounds, 5 assists. To go with his starting front court partner in Nikola Vucevic, 24 points, 11 rebounds, 2 assists, 9 for 15 from the field, 4 for 5 from downtown. I felt like this was an old school game. I felt like this was a dogfight, and I shouldn't expect any less out of a Jimmy Butler-led team. But the fact that the Bulls answered that bell and went for it, I loved every second of it. And, I just credit where credit's due to those two guys. And second half, Kobe White, too. He gets a lot of dap.
No, I meif you're going to out-hustle a hustle team, you need a Daniel Tice. And he showed the fuck up tonight. I'm going to not look at Lowry's first 3 quarters because there was a lot of dumb shit that I didn't want to see. Like transition defense where Lowry was kind of just like, yeah. A couple passes where Lowry was just like, yeah. It was almost like, dude, you just don't want to fucking be here. And I get it, but this is your job. I need you to take the shit serious, and I can't have a kind of attitude. And in the fourth, he did come alive. And you got to give Billy credit because these lineups are a little weird. And it takes balls that can like trust it when you see success because it's not proven, it's not tested, and he rode with it. And I mean, when it works, I love it. When it doesn't work, it's like, Billy, why the fuck is Larry Markkinen at small forward? But that's pretty much what Lowry is. He's just a small forward with zero perimeter defense.
Right. And, you know, I love seeing him answer the bell a little bit here tonight, man. You know, it's just because of the player and the stand that I am for Lowry, and I have been during his, you know, tenure here. Conversations that we've had before about this, man. And just to see him in a big spot in a big game, he goes 5 for 11, 2 for 7 from downtown, 12 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist. But there were some points there where he was matched up on a guy like Jimmy Butler, or he got matched up on a guy like Trevor Ariza or Bam, and he was giving it his all. And that's a huge thing to see out of him because that fucking care is still there. And I know this is a one-off. This is a one game. You know, and us winning this game, we're still, a game and a half behind Washington, I believe. We do own the tiebreaker, like Adam said on the broadcast. But it was just how he played down the stretch was absolutely massive. And I have to give credit where credit's due. And this is where I get so frustrated with this team. There's been games where they've been dogfights this year, man. I want your opinion on this, too. There's been games that have been dogfights this year. But this is like one of the first times this year, or at least in a long time, that I felt like they wanted it more. Like, I feel like we have this conversation on the other end all the time. It's like, oh, well, you know, the Jazz wanted it more. Oh, you know what? Well, the Spurs wanted it more. You know what? The Cavs wanted it more. That wasn't the case, man. There was like fire and passion, and it's cliche as shit, and I don't give a shit. Like, it's just what it is. There was fire and passion. Kobe White getting upset at himself for making a mistake, or they come down, you know, the Heat come down on a defensive end, they get a layup at the rim, and Kobe smacks the ball, and he's just like, damn, you know, like, no. And they're going to go back up, and they're going to score. And I think that was like a completely different mindset that I've seen recently.
I mean, maybe throughout the full game, because even though they sucked in the first, you still had that intensity. I mean, you'd like to think they always get pissed when shit's not going the right way, but we outdogged some dogs tonight, and that is something to be proud of. And hopefully that's something we can continue to tap into. And hopefully Billy continues to be, you know, brave with these lineups and these possible rotations, because you've seen things that work. But after this Knicks game, I wouldn't be surprised if Zach gets the okay to take a private jet out to New York to try to get there for this game. But if he's not there for the next game, once you get him back, you got a lot of changes again. And some guys have established roles, and it's not for the better. That's not where we're going. That's not where we're taking this. But you're going to have to reset and readjust again. And obviously it's for the better. You're bringing in, you know, your best player, your second best player, maybe behind Vooch on a given night. But what are we going to see? Because this stretch isn't going to get easy, though. We did hear before the game, the Nets might be without 2 or more stars for the last 2 games of the season that the Bulls have with them. So that could help down the stretch. But we need to continue to see this fight and this dog against teams that aren't dogs. But the Knicks, those are some dogs. We're going to hear Tibbs barking like a fucking dog the next game coming up. So we need to bring it again.
Absolutely. I mean, inconsistency is key. Obviously, they got to keep doing it to win games like this, but I feel like this could be a turnaround game, you know, even for their psyche. If they don't get in, whatever. But I mean, my God, for your psyche, that, you know, that's a very important thing within basketball, confidence. And, you know, if they can continue to build on what they did here tonight, they were just so powerful down the stretch, and it was just amazing to see. I mean, making the right decisions, defensive intensity. Sato's block tonight.
Sato's block was...
And just his play in general, but I point out his block, and not because it was just, you know, massive or whatever. It was just, I felt like the whole team had a little bit of that in them tonight. And that's like, as a collective unit, the ball movement is something we need to talk about. 41 made field goals for the Bulls tonight, Goose. 33 of them were assists. That's
And
huge.
there was over 4 players with more than 5 assists.
Yes. They shot 53.2% from the field. They shot 37% from downtown. They went 11 for 29. It's the first game in 12 games they shot over 20 free throws in a game. At one point, Jimmy Butler had more damn free throws than the Bulls did. And he finishes with 21 on the night, 21 free throws. I'm sorry, not 21 free throws. That's an asshole statement. I'm sorry about that. 11 free throws he took. He went 11 for 11, but at one point he almost had more than the Bulls. He did have more than the Bulls. And it's just, they got to the line. They were aggressive, and it's shit that I want to see because it's in this team. That's why I get so fired up about it. And I'm in a few group chats. I'm in a few, different threads around Twitter and looking at stuff and going back to a point you made about Billy and thinking that his lineups are crazy. There's a fucking reason we're not NBA coaches, man. You know what I'm saying?
And we're not in these practices. We
Right.
don't see what he sees in these scenarios that he's drawing up that he plans to use in the game. So
I could show you, and I will text you after. I got receipts like a motherfucker of guys like, oh my God, they're just giving up, they're just giving up having Lowry at the small forward, Tyson Vucin. I mean, there's no perimeter defense, which, hey, you're kind of right. But when stop looking at just the numbers and actually watch the fucking game and watch how these people are actually trying to perform. It was a different vibe, which I dig the different vibe. I dig that these guys are fucking fighting. They're fighting a team that is a playoff team with an arguably top 10, top 15 NBA player leading the way. And while, yes, they are shorthanded a bit, like you had said, they still have so many people. Many people on
Zach LaVine, so the shorthanded thing isn't an excuse.
Well, right. You could throw that in there too. But the way they performed was absolutely fantastic. I loved everything I saw. And even though, I was a little not upset. I was a little concerned when they took out Sato for Garrett Temple there towards the end.
You mean like when Garrett Temple lost the ball and almost cost us the game because Jimmy Butler pressed him? And
yeah,
Billy trusted Temple, who's not a point guard, to have the ball in a serious, crucial situation like that. I didn't like that decision at all either. And luckily it didn't come back to bite us in the ass. We escaped with that decision, but I hope we also learned from that decision. I don't want to see that again.
I also don't want to see Denzel Valentine, like our boy Joe Maris just put up on the chat here. I don't want to see Denzel Valentine in crunch time anymore. And that's why you saw his ass get taken out pretty much immediately. He played 10 minutes tonight. He went 0 for 1. He's got to be a little bit in the doghouse for his shot on Saturday, which Stacey's been very vocal this year on things that have pissed him off. And, credit to where credit's due. I don't like that water carrying shit. And I'm not trying to call people out who do water care, who are so who love the team and invest in it, because I understand that. I kind of get it, But Stacey, being a professional basketball player, in the past and whatever, and calling guys out for what are you trying to do here, man? You're down a little bit. Not having Denzel in to make a stupid decision, which is what he usually does. And I'm not speaking on his person or anything. He's probably a great guy.
And he did get a little appearance in the fourth, and he did something stupid, and Billy gave him the quick hook. It was like PTSD. He was like, fuck no, not doing this again. Quick hook. See ya. And it was the right decision because we won the fucking game. Denzel, it sucks because you can clearly see the skills. At this point of his career, the upside just isn't there for these hero moments. It's like, Denzel, this isn't summer league in the first year of your career anymore, man. This is 5 years later. You need to accept your role and stay in your lane, and your lane is not chucking a 32-footer with a minute left down 2 possessions. So luckily we're learning. I mean, and Billy, at different games, Billy is going to trust guys because we can shit on Denzel for that shot. And I know we said we weren't really going to touch on that game, but here we are. And Denzel did do a lot of positive things in that fourth quarter that kept him in that game before he made that shot. But unfortunately, it is all too reliable that anytime Denzel's doing good, his ego is going to get the best of him, and he's going to do something stupid.
And when you do something stupid, it negates the good, especially when you cost your team a game, essentially.
No, yeah, because all you had to do there was pass the ball, and you heard. I don't know if you heard Billy post game.
No, I didn't hear shit. I was on the moon, man.
You're on the moon.
Yeah, I was on the moon, bro.
Well, Billy said that he tried to call timeout, and the referees did not grant his timeout. And he tried to give Denzel an out, saying, I don't know if he thought if he heard me call timeout and he was expecting a whistle, so he checked it up, Denzel obviously doubled down and said, nah, I'm confident. I'm going to take that shot. I don't care what anybody thinks. I'm confident in myself. And Billy said, I tried to call a timeout because I didn't want that shit to happen. And no timeout was there. So
right. I do want to point out something that Sean Keane had said on YouTube, joins us quite often here on the stream. But he did put, trusted Kobe to not foul Jimmy Buckets. Speaking of Billy Donovan,
so glad he said that.
Totally psyched him out, took him mentally out of his closing mindset. And that's a great point. On that layup, on that breakaway layup there where Kobe went, I got to get a gif of that. I'm going to make a gif of it.
He just like smiled at him.
He just pulled back, dude, put his arms back and had a little smirk, and Jimmy went up like Kobe knew, like, yeah, nah, I ain't even trying it. You want that and one, you're going to try to initiate contact with me is exactly what Jimmy tried to do. And it took Jimmy out from just finishing the basket, which, you don't see that often, if ever, with Jimmy Butler.
I think it's because Jimmy always gets the contact. And at this point in Jimmy's career, he embraces, he wants the contact, and he probably calculated the shot he was putting up based on getting some contact. And then when it wasn't there, it completely threw him off. But no, I am so glad that he brought that up because that smirk and that pullback, that was clutch. That was extremely crucial. That was probably the defining moment. And it was beautiful because Kobe White always over tries on defense. And we talk about it so often because we feel for him because he's not a guy that you can kill for not trying. And he did the opposite, and he pulled back, and it was probably the defining play of the game.
Right, and just to run through a couple team stats, I did, like we already talked about the 33 assists and the 41 made baskets, but the Bulls out-rebound Miami here by a pretty significant margin, my friend, 51-34, and that just speaks to Tice's and Vooch's game. Obviously a couple other guys coming up big with boards. I know Lowry only had a couple, but he had one in the fourth quarter where he like literally just took that shit from Bam. Like made sure he ran up, grabbed that thing. Wasn't very physical or anything. It was just his beeline to the ball that really sticks out to me. Thad Young, great game off the bench. He goes 10, 9, and 8. Damn, that triple-double, man. Damn, that triple-double.
And he had the 8 assists at halftime.
Yeah. Yep. It sucks he didn't get it. I've been kind of waiting for him to get it, man. I've been really wanting that personally.
I was literally sitting there at halftime going, man, if we don't win this game, we need Thad to at least get that triple-double. I mean, I'm going to take the W over the triple-dub for Thad, but that man has to get that stat in the Bulls jersey. Has to happen.
Garrett Temple played some good defense. I just want to touch on that and say he had a good game. Besides those turnovers that he did
he did have a couple big shots.
Well, the one turnover he did have, but he had a couple. Yeah, like you said, he had a couple big threes actually. That one was a run stopper, one was a good one in the fourth that we needed. So he played a great game tonight. I loved Sato off the bench, like I pointed out before, 18 minutes, but he's got 6 points, 4 boards, 6 assists. Did turn the ball over twice. There, Vincent was getting up on him. Big time there. And, he lost his composure, but, Sato's a pro. He rebounded just fine. And again, Kobe White, 5 for 14. He had a piss poor first half. I believe he was 1 for 7. He finishes the game off 5 for 14, 2 for 8 from downtown, but he has 17 points, 6 assists, and 5 rebounds, 3 turnovers. I'm just everybody played a good game. I thought Pat Will was going to actually get into double digits tonight. Did not happen. He had 5 in the first quarter. He ends up finishing 2 for 7. He gets 8 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. He turned the ball over 3 times, trying to force some passes there. And then he did get stripped by Ariza on a drive to the rim, which contributed to one of his turnovers. But he only got 22 minutes. But other than that, I can't speak highly enough, and we have not done that recently on this podcast. I haven't, spoke highly enough of the Bulls when they've played well, because I feel like we kind of have reservations about it, but I don't know why this one felt a bit different to me, and it really did.
Because Jimmy Butler was over there, and I didn't think how much I was going to hate playing Jimmy Butler. Obviously, we didn't trade him to an Eastern Conference team. He made his way back over here on his own. Well, playing Jimmy on a team that's in the East, man, this shit sucks.
Yeah, no, it's not fun.
Especially the Heat, like one of the 2 teams that used to be the Bulls' rivals. Like, fuck, man. And I just never realized how much I hated Jimmy Butler's approach to the game at drawing fouls. As much as I used to love it at the end of games in a Bulls jersey, it is torture to be on the opposite end.
Oh, yeah, when he's not yours, it was like the same thing where like you would tell fans like during cordial conversations on social media or just in everyday life, like when people hated Joakim Noah, right? I know he didn't get the line like that, but you know what I mean? Just a player like that that's not on your squad, you fucking hate him. But when you have him, it's just like, oh man, why are you hating? Like, what's your problem? You know, why are you hating?
He's just a hard worker, man. He just tries so hard. Like, why do you hate?
Yeah, it's exactly it, man. It's exactly it. I don't really have much else for this game besides fucking great job all around. The lineups were definitely crazy, but they worked, and I dig it. And I really think the mentality of the Bulls, I'd like to see that roll over. You got anything else on this one before we hit the preview?
No, I don't have any more else on this game other than re-sign Daniel Tice.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a must. I will give my tens of thousands of pennies that I have to bring him back. So tonight, Bulls obviously get a big win over Miami. Next up is Wednesday, 6:30 in New York against the Knicks. Now the Knicks just lost tonight, and that was like the first time in a minute. Phoenix came back, ended up beating them. It's a big game, you know, just because I say it's a big game. I don't know if anybody think it's a big game, but I say it's a big game because we're coming off a big win.
This is my Game 7 championship this year. We just beat Jimmy Butler. Now we have to beat Thibs, Taj, D-Rose, RJ Barrett, and last but most definitely not least, Julius Randle.
That boy, you know what? I want to speak on an article about that. Julius Randle is obviously going to be the most improved player of the year. That's you agree with that? I mean, just to throw that out there. I mean, you believe that? I do.
I mean, the only way he wouldn't be is because he's too good, and it's just like, maybe you've been here too long. Maybe you're too good to be that.
That dude should be getting MVP consideration. I'm not fucking with you.
I have seen that floating on the Twitter sphere, and I have to agree. More so on just the consideration, and obviously nothing serious there, but definitely want to see the Bulls come out and take this game. Taking down all the ex-Bulls back-to-back is our championship right now, unless we can sneak into this play. So I'm really looking forward to this next game.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the matchups in this game, too. I'm looking forward to seeing our bigs play the way that they played tonight again. I'm looking forward to ball movement, and I really am curious to see how the defensive assignments go with a guy like Julius Randle, because we know what a Tibbs offense typically looks like, okay? It's very
we got Tyson Pat to throw at him, so I'm a little comfortable.
And we got Thad, too.
Yeah. No, so we got three guys that I'm pretty comfortable in terms of matching up there.
I want to see the same intensity they had tonight, and that's your key to victory. That is your key to victory. You feed Vooch the ball, you feed him early, get him going. Hopefully, Daniel Tice can build on what the hell he's been doing and what he did tonight, because the front court over there is Nerlens Noel and Julius Randle right now. Nerlens Noel is a pretty good defensive NBA center. He's a shot blocker. You know, he could do that kind of stuff. Vooch will eat him alive. He's not going to score on the other end. He's not really a threat there. Alfred Payton's a good defender. RJ Barrett, young player, budding, learning within the league. So, I mean, but their bench too. I got to give their bench credit where it's due. They got Quickly, got Rose. Taj has been playing. Obi Toppin, not getting a ton of minutes. Obi Toppin didn't get a ton of minutes tonight. He only had 10. But, these are the guys that I'm pointing out while I just went through their whole damn roster. But Julius Randle, D Rose, Quickly, are guys that I'm a little worried about. And if RJ Barrett gets hot, because he does, they've been on a winning streak, but RJ Barrett can shoot him out of games a little bit with his overconfidence. I watched a lot of Knicks basketball this year. So, greetings from Sweden to Muddy Water. Greetings to you, my man. Happy Bulls win. But I will say that if they keep the same intensity that they had tonight, Goose, that we're going to be in store for another barn burner. And that's what I want to see. I want to see competitive basketball like we saw tonight. Fight, fire, hunger, go get the fucking win. That's what they need to do.
No, we're definitely going to have to outdog some dogs again. But what I want to see is Zach LaVine come in on some stone cold shit in the middle of the Knicks intro and just be like,
you want to hear the glass break?
Yeah, I just want to hear the glass break and Zach just come running out like, I'm here to start the game, bitches. And the crowd goes wild. Because
maybe like a Bill Murray entrance, like from Space Jam.
Sure, we could do that too. As long as Zach was at the game, I'd be all for it. But I get that's probably not realistic. That's more of a joke. So a better start from Kobe would probably be beneficial. And a good finish. So just a good game from Kobe. Not that he had a bad game tonight.
Realizing that there's 48 minutes in a game, you know what I'm saying? And the first 24 didn't go his way, but the last 24 did. And he was very crucial. And if he, like you said, he needs to start off hot because we don't want to be in those situations where you're starting off cold and you're having to find yourself fighting back. Though I did say I want a barn burner. I'd like it to be a barn burner from start to finish, if possible. You know, like that's what I would like to see. But Kobe White is one guy I'm not worried about. People need to put respect on his motherfucking name. You know,
Kobe White is the one guy that the Knicks defense can't actually fully stop. Him and Vooch are really the only two guys on the team without Zach that you have that even a game plan isn't going to stop them from getting theirs on most nights. So we need both of those guys to show up because the Knicks do have a top 3 to 5 defense in the league. Probably better.
Not shocking with Tom Thibodeau as your head coach, man.
Yeah, I mean, I got to give the man credit where it's due. He can turn a turd into a dime sometimes. So, power to the Knicks. Their run has been fun, but we got to get this shit. We need the win. And this is, like I said, if we're not in the play-in, this is probably the game with the most meaning to me for the rest of the season.
Well, and that play-in is going to be hard to get to because Washington's been playing very well recently. So, I mean, I don't know if you saw that game with Washington tonight. You know, like I said, I'm fortunate enough to have the league pass or whatever the fuck it's called. And I always have 4 games up and then I got the Bulls on the television. They scored so many points, went to overtime with the Spurs, but it was 146-143. Westbrook again, just balling. Him and Beal have really clicked. And, you know, our old friend Daniel Gafford's been playing well over there as well. So, you know, we've got to keep our eye on them for that play-in, but let's look at what's in front of us, and that's the Knicks, and everything that we said is what I'm hoping to see on Wednesday night. You got anything else before we ride out, my man?
No corny lines today. Let's get the Knicks, let's get Zach back, and let's keep this sucker rolling and find ourselves in this play-in because I want to play some fucking meaningful basketball.
Absolutely. I think we all do as Bulls fans, no doubt about it. Everybody be sure you're going on tapsportsnet.com for all your Chicago sports literature and podcasting needs. Following us on Twitter at Bulls on Tap, at On Tap Sportsnet. Following Goose at Bulls Scripted, me at Buzz on Tap. Anywhere you can listen to podcasts, you can listen to us, 5-star rating and review because that's cool and tough. We'll be back Wednesday after the Bulls play the New York Knicks. Let's go Bulls.